We'll be celebrating Thanksgiving soon, and in true American form, the dinner turkey's going to be at the center stage. But have you ever stopped to wonder, how did turkeys become part of our history? And who first thought to tame these wild birds? Spoiler alert, it wasn't the Pilgrims. The story of turkeys in America often is thought to begin with the Pilgrims, but that's only part of the picture. Long before the Pilgrims arrived, Native Americans had already mastered the art of taming one of America's most iconic birds, the wild turkey. So grab your dinner plate filled with roast turkey, stuffing, and pumpkin pie, as we'll turn back the clock 2,000 and some years ago to when this majestic fowl first interacted with the land's native dwellers. Today, we're diving into a fascinating slice of history, how Native Americans tamed and domesticated turkeys centuries before the first Thanksgiving. Here's to history. We're glad you could join us for some fascinating facts about how the continent's original habitants raised turkeys into becoming an American symbol. We hope you'll like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can bring you more entertaining history lore. Most of the domestic animals familiar to us today, like sheep, horses, and cattle, were domesticated not long after people began farming and living in permanent settlements between 8,000 and 2,500 BC. For the wild turkey, it had taken much later for them to be tamed by humans, particularly by Native Americans. Turkeys are native to North America, thriving in forests and grasslands. Native American tribes such as the Aztecs, Maya, and Pueblo were domesticating turkeys as early as 2,000 years ago. Archaeologists have found artifacts with turkey insignias around the Americas, showing their importance to indigenous peoples. In 2010, two separate studies of this animal-human connection were published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. The researchers ascertained that more than 1,500 years before Christopher Columbus and his crew arrived in the New World, the Native Americans had already domesticated the wild turkeys by then. This happened in two waves in history. First in 800 BC in south-central Mexico, and the second in 200 BC in what is now known as the Colorado Plateau. The research surmises that the two waves might have been separate from each other, although there is a likelihood that the different Native American groups might have come in contact with each other and swapped turkey-raising tips to one another. From being large birds out in the wild, turkeys had now become a farm regular for the Native Americans. If one were to think of turkeys today, certainly one would imagine a bountiful centerpiece roast meat, or maybe perhaps a deli sandwich. But funny enough, the prehistoric Native Americans never thought of these birds as a delectable source of food originally. From the onset, the Native Americans bred and raised the turkeys for their feathers. These valuable feathers were used in their rituals, ceremonies, clothing, and even blankets. Native Americans also used turkeys in ways you might not expect. Turkey bones, perfect for making musical instruments like flutes and whistles. They also used the precious turkey bones as tools like awls and ornaments such as beads. So, how did Native Americans manage to tame these wild birds? The process of domesticating turkeys was a gradual one. Native Americans observed the birds' behavior, learned their habits, and developed innovative techniques to capture and raise them. They selected the tamest birds for breeding, gradually creating flocks that were more docile and easier to manage. They also selectively bred birds for desirable traits like size, plumage, and behavior, creating hardy and disease-resistant flocks. Turkey breeds like the Narragansett and the Bourbon were developed by Native Americans, and these breeds remain popular today. Turkeys were raised by many Native American tribes in North America, from the Wampanoag in the northeast to the Creeks in the southeast. In these communities, turkeys played a central role in daily life, ceremonies, and trade. In some tribes, turkeys were even used as a form of currency or as gifts to seal alliances. This disproves the misconception that turkeys only became a staple when the first Pilgrims arrived. Native Americans were accomplished farmers, and their sophisticated farming practices allowed them to thrive. Not only were they skilled farmers, they were also adept with animal husbandry. Native Americans developed complex farming systems that integrated turkeys with other crops and animals. They cultivated corn, beans, and squash, the famous Three Sisters, alongside turkeys, which not only provided meat but also helped to control pests and maintain soil health. When the Pilgrims arrived in the early 1600s, they encountered both wild turkeys and domesticated ones. However, it wasn't until later, when Europeans began raising their own flocks of domesticated turkeys, that the bird truly became associated with Thanksgiving. Turkeys were also eventually brought back to Europe, wherein they became a prized delicacy. But without Native American ingenuity, the turkey as we know it might never have made it to our Thanksgiving tables. Modern agriculture also owes the prehistoric Native Americans for laying the groundwork for how farmers breed and raise turkeys today. Pretty incredible, right? Turkeys have been a part of human history for thousands of years, thanks to the resourcefulness of Native American cultures. So, the next time you sit down for a turkey dinner, remember to give a nod of thanks to the people who started it all. This Thanksgiving, we show our gratitude to the Native Americans who first tamed these birds, and their innovative farming practices that helped shape the way we interact with turkeys today. Happy Thanksgiving to all who celebrate. May you have a meaningful and restful holiday. Thanks for watching our look back into the prehistoric time when Native Americans first connected with wild turkeys and shaped them up to become one of America's biggest symbols. We're curious to hear your own experience. How do you like your turkey served? So, here's to history. We're excited to bring more captivating history topics, so hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to be in the know. See you next time.